Hello YouTubers, this is Lokik and today we're going to do a different kind of a video. In this video we're going to talk about an electronic product which kind of stopped working and how we can try to bring it back to life. So this is going to be a repair video kind of a thing, and this is specifically towards the item that you're seeing on your screen. This is the subwoofer or 2.1 channel woofer that we kind of bought from Amazon, and it worked good for a while. So it was like I think it worked for 2 years approximately, and the main reason that we bought this one for was it had a lot of input options. So like you can see on the front panel here, you can see you have different modes to switch in the inputs from. So for example, you have the USB input, you have the FM input, and then you have also the Bluetooth and aux as an input to this speaker. So this was a good unit. It did work for 2 years, and suddenly yesterday it started smoking, and we kind of switched it off, and all the smoke was coming out from here. So it was like a drastic failure that happened inside, I guess, and suddenly we had smoke and burning smell and stuff like that, so we switched it off. But this was a pretty cheap product, and it was like around about 2K if I'm not wrong, 2 years back from Amazon. So that is what it is, and it was quite a bit good product. It worked pretty fine till that time. Now if you look at the input and the output ports for this one, like you can see here, it has an AC input as well as it has multiple satellite outputs, satellite speakers output. So you have front right, front left, surround right, surround left, and then you have center, and then you have FM antenna, and then you have the audio input, which is the aux input basically. Now it might look like from this set of outputs that it has different channels for different the front, the right, and stuff like that. I mean, at least I'm expecting 4 channels, because I see a left and right channel, and then I see the surround left, surround right, and the surround left channel. So I'm at least expecting 4 channel input, 4 channel driver in this box itself. And looking at the satellite speaker, they were also kind of happy when they were so there was no distortion, or there are no humming, or any such noise problems that we ever faced with this. So let's dive deep into this, and let's see what exactly happened inside, because all I could see from outside was smoke and the unit was off. So let's undo a few screws here and see how the whole thing, or what's gone wrong inside this box, and is it fixable? Can we do a quick job of soldering, and can we fix this? So just give me a second. I'll undo all the screws and come back and see how we can continue on this one. Alright, so I've undone the screws. So you have, I think, around about 8 screws on the border of the frame, and I've removed them all completely. And let's take a peep inside what has gone wrong. I've already done this, but then and for the simplicity of the video, I'm going to kind of walk you over again. So this is how you kind of remove it, and yeah. So this is your board. So let me just switch this around. Yeah, so here you go. So these are the main components. Like you see, this is the whole motherboard, or whatever, the main thing for the whole stuff. And like you can see, it's pretty simple. I think what you have is a transformer, which is basically in the input side, or the supply voltage. You have the output ports. Now those ports are kind of glued together. They do have a screw, but then I don't know why they are only just hot glued together. And this is the output port, and this is like the main motherboard, or the main amplifier board for the whole system. And like you can see from here, the input wire comes in, the AC wire comes in, goes to the transformer, switches this to this transformer is rated at 13 volts if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 13 into 2, which is 13013. So this guy has like 3 outputs, and then this goes inside the power board, the main amplifier board, and from there it is kind of been amplified, and it's kind of supplied to the woofer and all the output satellite speakers. So let us quickly remove this board from the from this joint and see what exactly went wrong. Like you can see, I have removed the board and I've kept it down. So let me focus on the main board itself and what it is doing. So this is the board. There are a lot of connectors which are kind of hot glued, so I cannot remove them. But I tried to remove all of them. So I removed the speaker connector and I removed the power connector so that it can easily come off. But the other connectors are hot glued, so I basically have to kind of redo the hot glue again when I'm connecting them back. I think that is for a reason, because they don't rattle around and then they don't kind of get loose connection. You don't get loose connections and stuff like that. But anyways, so like you can see, this is the circuit board. It's like a pretty standard circuit board. It is based out of, I think, you can see these 3 ICs. I think these are the main power amplifiers. And like you can see here, the amplifier is basically for different channels. And right, so you can look at the 3 different ICs. So I'm assuming these are the 3 different channels that it is amplifying. And looking from the output ports that we just saw, I thought it should have at least 6 channels, but that doesn't seems to be the case. It has 3 channels. So what I'm assuming here is this is the left, this is the right, and this is the subwoofer, and that is how these kind of 3 amplifiers are distributed. And it's, I think, a simple board. It is based out of TDA 2030. It's a fairly simple IC. I think you can find it out on Amazon, and I'll link the datasheet for this IC in the description. But then it's a fairly simple board. I don't see much here. Now the main point or the place where we are getting smoke from was this IC here. So let me just zoom into that part if I can. Yeah. So if you look at this is where the IC just got kind of burnt, and you can clearly see the legs going black, and the carbon is deposited here, and the heat sink, the heat dissipation from this guy is kind of browned this heat sink a bit on this side and stuff like that. So that's exactly what has happened. I think this is where the smoke started coming in from, and you can see the markings of the IC as well, TDA 2030. And this, I think this is what has gone bad. So in my opinion, this should be fixable. It should not be a problem, because you can find these ICs all very cheaply on Amazon. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put an order on Amazon for this one and wait it out, and then replace this IC possibly. So this project looks to be, this thing looks to be repairable. Should not be a big problem. At least if this is the only problem is the IC itself. If not, then we can look at what else has kind of gone bad. But surely this is like a 3-channel thing. It's not the way I have seen, or it's not the way I was thinking it to be, like a 6-channel 6-channel amplifier or something. But seems to be pretty decent enough. So it's basically bare bones, and you might be wondering, where are all the other components, the Bluetooth, the FM antenna, FM and all that stuff. I think either they are in the front of the whole thing, which is inside here, or let me just see if it takes a better shot. No, unfortunately. Yeah, so they might be inside this, behind the speaker. And another interesting point here, this is an actual speaker, and this is not a woofer which has a large cone travel. This guy is just a speaker, normal speaker, and that is why I think it sometimes doesn't sound that good. But then given the cheap price, I don't think we should expect unique or genuine components inside this. But then for the price that I paid, I think this was worth it, and that is what we got for it. So from this video, at least it looks like, or from this teardown, it looks like that the whole board is kind of fixable. We are just waiting for the I'll put an order on Amazon for the ICs, and I think once they are there, We can quickly desolder them, solder it back again, the new ones in, and see if this works. So thanks guys for watching. I'll see you after I get the ICs back again. Thanks. Bye.